Hey, all you sports fans out there, or to you, the individuals, part of the collective in the Turbosphere, welcome to the One Man Sports Rant. Gen 3.0, I am your host, Will, as it were. The host, not Will. Will is still here, just talk radio version. Will, the alternative ESPN sports field. So the beauty of the talk radio version is, I'm not going to be talking very long. The clips speak for themselves. Just a reminder, the OMSR is a show. It has to be done in one variation or another. Talk radio version is my way of sort of selling out, wimping out, being lazy. Don't have to do the set. Benefit to you all out there. It seems like I've gotten quite a few subscribers, less armchair commenting, quarterbacking with the talk radio version because I keep it short and sweet. The set, you're going to go to trouble to put together a set and be live and whatnot. And I know how we're going to improve that in Gen 4.0. First weekend of college football. Stay tuned for that. But again, we have to do a show. It's called the DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. You have to go through what's the fair use standard, derivatives, minimal use, no money exchange in hands. Got that covered. It's a pro bono sports show. So, in deference to clips that you borrow, you have to have an amalgamation of that with your own content. The Good Ship Sports Clip Lollipop on YouTube is sale. You can't just throw up. Let me rephrase that. You can't just post on your channel 10 minutes worth of sports clips from wherever, from whatever event, and say, hey, watch my video. It's just not the right thing to do. It wasn't 3 years ago. You could get away with it to then. You can't now. So understand that. Save the comments for the actual sport event we're able to bring here. Which, for this particular show, for once I'm just going to use this voiceover for the show it's intended. The scandal brouhaha that's unfolding in Major League Baseball. Alex Rodriguez, are you serious with the money you're making and you're still trying to... I mean, why does somebody go and do that on the sports rant of the day while I still have about 20 seconds here? He's already got the contract signed. Is there some sort of performance clause we don't know that Rodriguez signed? Or when he signed it with the Yankees? You already have made $250 million and you still go out and cheat? Yeah, look up the phrase dumbass in Webster's dictionary. You're going to suddenly see all those guys' photos. Alright, so courtesy to Major League Baseball and ESPN, all the other original content and the overall concept, copyright to the OMSR. Right, thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Finals are starting up with the NBA and roll graphics.
Good evening. Welcome to Baseball Tonight alongside the Hall of Famer Barry Larkin, Aaron Boone, and our Baseball Tonight insider Pedro Gomez. I'm Carl Ravitch. We'll get to the games in just a second, but a big story in Baseball Tonight. It involves Major League Baseball's commitment of time, manpower, and millions of dollars, which allegedly has now got them their man. That's Tony Bosch, who is the founder of Biogenesis, the Miami clinic allegedly linked to baseball players and performance-enhancing drugs. Major League Baseball, according to two sources, now will get his cooperation in testifying against players. TJ Quinn has more.
Sources tell outside the lines that Major League Baseball is preparing to suspend about 20 players, including Alex Rodriguez and Ryan Braun, based on Tony Bosch's testimony and documents obtained by MLB investigators. The documents have been in the media since January. Handwritten notes from the now shuttered Biogenesis clinic in Miami, listing the names of major and minor league players who allegedly received PEDs, including stars like Rodriguez, Melky Cabrera, Nelson Cruz, and Braun, who failed the steroid test in 2011, but successfully appealed his suspension.
If I've ever made any mistakes in my life, I've taken responsibility for my actions. I truly believe in my heart, and I would bet my life that this substance never entered my body at any point.
MLB officials remain convinced he had doped, however, with the assistance of Bosch. When Braun's name appeared on Biogenesis documents, Braun explained by saying his attorneys had consulted with Bosch during his appeal.
What services did you offer Braun?
I haven't offered Braun any services.
So when he says that you were a paid advisor to his legal team, what did you supply in return for that?
I just answered a few questions from his legal team, not from Braun.
Bosch is expected to say that he provided banned drugs to players, and in the case of A-Rod, injected the ailing Yankee slugger himself. Rather than seek standard 50-game suspensions for first-time offenders, however, one source familiar with MLB's investigation said the commissioner's office is considering 100-game suspensions for some players, including A-Rod and Braun, arguing that they violated the program twice, once when they dealt with Bosch, another when they allegedly lied to Major League Baseball about it. The players are sure to fight any suspension with the support of the players' union, meaning they may end up facing Bosch in person in an arbitration hearing.
That's T.J. Quinn, who, along with Pedro's...
It's not helping to fill up stadiums that are already, you know, sparse.
What is
many teams, many cities.
Well, the significance is that Major League Baseball obviously is not taking their foot off the pedal. They want to, once and for all, get rid of all performance-enhancing drugs from baseball. They know that the Biogenesis scandal is one of the largest, if not the largest, in the history of the sport, larger than Valco even because of the number of players involved. So in that case, they knew this was the crux of them trying to get as many players as possible who have, they believe, linked to them, as well as probably send a message to everyone else in the game, don't do this. Don't forget that last year we had several players test positive. So obviously, players are still trying to get by and sneak through the system.
What has your reporting taught you about the number of players, some of the names that are involved here?
Well, we think it's probably at least a couple of dozen, 20 or so plus. However, there could be many more. There could be, you know, Tony Bosch is the one that's going to interview with Major League Baseball. He's the one that's going to give depositions, give affidavits to Major League Baseball. If he has other records that indicate maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 more players, you could be talking, you know, dozens and dozens. What we have ascertained is that it's probably around 24, but that doesn't mean that that's limited to just that. These documents, there are many, many pages of these documents.
Before we get the thoughts of Barry and Aaron, what happened that allowed or forced or caused Bosch to say, okay, I'll cooperate? What did Major League Baseball have over him?
Well, they were suing him, number one. And number two, there are federal agencies that have already gone after Tony Bosch. The Florida Department of Health has gone after Tony Bosch. So he's facing a lot of pressure from different areas. What we know is that Major League Baseball will drop the lawsuit against Tony Bosch. We know that baseball will indemnify him for future prosecutions from other lawsuits that could arise from this scandal as well. And don't forget, Major League Baseball is a very powerful lobby. They have a lot of friends in Washington, D.C. They can say to different arms of the government, leave this guy alone. He has been cooperating with us. Let him help us and let him be free from maybe a federal prosecution.
And while they will seek, allegedly, these suspensions, there is a process involved here. It's not as if players will be suspended tomorrow.
No.
There's an entire process that the Players Association will have their say. As former players, as a Hall of Famer, what does a day and news like this mean to you?
Well, every time this subject comes up, I feel a couple of different things. Number one, I feel happy that Major League Baseball is pursuing this, is trying to clean it up. I just hope that there's some definitive things that happen at the end of this. I mean, it's always like the dog chasing the tail. Mm-hmm. It's like we haven't really got hold of this because, as you said, there's still guys out there testing, and there are all these big names out there that are either skating by or whatever. You know, on the other side, I'm mad. You know, I'm upset. I think about some guys at the end of their career who had an opportunity to make a conscious decision to either do this or not do it.
And go out
gracefully. They chose not to, and they're out of the game. How many guys decided to do it at some point of their career? Maybe it's not even a career-ending type of situation. Maybe it's just because I want to be yet even better than I already am. I want to have exactly.
Your career.
I think about those guys, you know, and so many people have come through our clubhouse, and I can talk with Booney about this, and we've seen them just just become victims of not being good enough. Not being good enough. And some of those guys decided not to. So I just got all kind of stuff going on.
I'm with Lark. There's a lot of emotions that go into this. On one side, it's a sad day because it's another black eye on a game that we all love, and we're not talking about the games right now to open our show, the games on the field that we love. So that part about it stinks. But the good part is that it is now a graded return. Not only have they really strengthened test, but now they're showing they'll go to the ends of the earth to try and find guys that are cheating this, and now guys that are trying to get around the system or not just have to worry about a test. Now, anytime they go somewhere, this now is in the back of their mind that, hey, Major League Baseball is out to really get this, and maybe going forward it becomes a greater deterrent for these guys going to seek these places out.
But you know the problem, the real problem for me is just thinking as a player. I've seen guys, and we've seen this, we've seen guys say, yes, I did it, I served my time, and go out and get another huge contract. You know, that is a problem. That's what Major League Baseball has to deal with, and that's the reality of where we are right now.
Well,
that's a problem.
That going forward, though, I think we're going to continue to see maybe the penalties get a little stiffer. I think that's a no-brainer going forward. That 50-game ban is going to become a 100-game. Now maybe the second one becomes a lifetime ban. Those things we're going to start to see because more and more we're now seeing the Players Association cooperate to some extent and be in cohesion with Major League Baseball.
If in fact, and not saying it happens, but if in fact Alex Rodriguez is suspended for 100 games, that would cost him $14 million, which given the massive size of his contract may not feel like a lot, but $14 million is $14 million. So to your point, the penalties are a little stiffer.
And to everybody's point, it's too much money to begin with.
10 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have much more on the games Aaron referred to. Some very, very good games. Well,
his whole contract should be worth that, not per year.
As well.
And he has to go out and cheat. All right, we're done.